Hi guys, I'm back to vlogging. Today is the day that I'm going to go to the airport and embark my journey to Korea. And as you can see behind me, these are my luggages. I'm doing some final packing, and tonight my night is going to be really exciting because I'll be bringing that Guzheng over there to the studio because I'll be having a Guzheng dance showcase filming kind of thing. And then after that, I'll head to the airport. And then I'll see you in Korea. This is my setup for the day. Just done with my dance filming, bringing my Guzheng home. Got in the lunch, and don't ask me why I took so much food. It's 2:30 AM. I'm really hungry after dance. Hi everyone. I just checked in, just past security and waiting for boarding now. Hi guys. I haven't been vlogging in such a long while, but I'm finally picking up my camera again because I'm in Korea. Chigum, maja. So So it's my first night here. I just landed this morning and I thought I'll share a quick review on T-Way Airline, at the same time also run you through my experience about immigration and coming into Korea. I made this trip on 1st October 2022, so if you're planning for your trip, you can kind of gauge how is the regulations like from the date that I flew in today. I flew in with T-Way Airline, which is a budget airline and also a Korean airline. I booked my ticket slightly 2 months in advance, and the ticket cost me $290, which is slightly less than $300. I would say that it is a very affordable price for a budget airline. See you in Korea. Since it's a budget airline, it is slightly more squeezy. If you have taken Scoot before, I would say that the seats are a little more cramped as compared to Scoot. But the good thing is because it's a midnight flight, there are not a lot of passengers on the plane. Hence, each passenger took like 2 to 3 seats and everybody was sleeping kind of comfortably, I guess. And majority of the passengers were Koreans, and they made announcements in both English and Korean. The downside is that, you know, for budget airlines, there's always a risk of delays. So for me, this flight was slightly delayed, but it wasn't that bad. The boarding time was 6 minutes late, and all in all, we arrived 10 minutes late into Korea. So in conclusion, I think T-Way Airline is a really good airline if you just need a quick flight to get into Korea. It's a 6 hours flight. So depending on how comfortable you are with the space and the constraints, to me 6 hours flight is really not such a big deal. Unless I would fly to further countries which are more than 12 hours, then I would really need to get myself a more comfortable seat. But other than that, I think the instructions were very clear, the facilities were clean, and that's it. Just arrived in Korea, and I'm going to give you guys a quick room tour. This is my very humble small apartment room. There's the bed, and then this is my clothes hanger. I like how everything looks so small compared to me, and there's a mini work desk which is very messy right now. Yeah, so I'm planning to do my video editing there, and right now I'll unpack my clothes and hang them on the closet to settle in. Random, but I brought this Milo all the way from Singapore because I want to give it to my friends and instructors. I really love Milo, like it's one of my favorite drinks, and I realized they don't have Milo in Korea. Done packing and organized my workspace too, my luggage. Now I'm going to move on to what I assume most of you are here for, the update on immigration procedures into South Korea. So firstly, when I checked in, I didn't prepare any vaccination certificate or documents. There's no need to, they didn't ask for it. I took T-Way Airlines, all is good. I'm not sure because maybe we're Singaporeans and they have a record of our vaccination status, but all in all, no, you do not need to prepare that piece of document. Secondly, I think this varies depending on the airline that you're taking, but I think especially when you're flying into Korea, where the regulations of COVID-19 and the mask wearing is still mandatory, except for outdoors, on the airlines you may be expected to put on a mask. Upon arrival to Korea, you have two things to submit. The first thing is your health declaration form, which is a yellow piece of paper, also known as Q code, which some of you may be familiar with and I also mentioned in my previous video. So one thing different I noticed is that now, other than the Q code, which may be a little bit inaccessible, especially if you do not have internet access. I realized the Wi-Fi at Korean airport at Incheon Seoul International Airport is not very reliable, so I couldn't really log into the Q code to get my QR code to do my health declaration form. Instead, there's this yellow slip of paper where you can fill up, and you'll basically ask for if you have any flu symptoms, COVID symptoms, and how's your health and everything. So all is good as long as you can collect that piece of paper, which will be provided by them. The second thing you need is pretty normal. It's your arrival card. They usually issue this card on the plane. If you missed it, you would be able to find it lying around too. Basically, the arrival card would ask you to report information like your name, your passport number, the duration of your stay, the flight that you took, and also the address and your phone number, your current address and your current phone number. Now, if you're staying in an Airbnb or hotel, you could just remember to save the details and write it down in the arrival card. And for the phone number, I know it may be a little bit tricky since most of you would probably be buying your data or like your Korean line when you arrive in Korea. So you can just write your Singapore number and explain to them that you do not have a Korean number yet. Lastly, I applied for the KETA, which is like a short-term visa for tourists. Even if you're visiting for a short period of time, all tourists entering into Korea are required to apply for this KETA. There's a small processing fee when you apply. However, I do notice that this KETA lasts for 3 years. So the previous trip to Korea, I already applied. So this time when I went online to check the validity of my KETA, it was still valid through 2027. It was still valid through 2025. So I do not need to reapply, and also I think they have a record of it, so you do not really need to print or show any documents, but just remember before you fly, you need to apply for this KETA if this is your first trip to Korea in a while. And the KETA processing usually takes up to 3 days, so I would suggest that you can apply at least a week in advance if you want to be safe, or bare minimum I would say at least 3 days in advance. So after giving your health declaration form, the yellow slip of paper / Q code, you will go through physical screening, and then lastly, before you leave the arrival hall, you just have to submit your arrival card to the officer and go to your belt and collect your luggage, and you're all set. It's really simple, and I don't think there's much additional steps. I think the regulations now have really relaxed and traveling has gone back to the days where we're used to. The only difference, or I would say the only small thing now, is just mask wearing, which varies from countries to countries. One thing I'm really thankful was that the news just came out a few days ago that you do not need to take on-arrival PCR tests anymore as of 1st October. And guess what? I flew in exactly on 1st October. So I'm really thankful for that. I did not plan anything for that. I actually already booked my on-arrival PCR test at the East testing site, but I realized you do not need to take that. So all you guys, I think all of you watching this now, you would probably be flying after 1st October. So you do not need to take any PCR test at all. No PCR, no departure PCR, no arrival PCR. But just to be safe, I feel that you can take your own ART kit before you fly. And then also when you arrive, I think you can pack a few ART kits into your luggage just in case, you know, if you're down, you can test yourself. Social responsibility, guys. So that's it for today's video. I tried to be as comprehensive and detailed as possible, and I recorded this on the very first night of my night in Korea so that you guys can be quickly updated to plan your wonderful, marvelous travel trip to Korea. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you have any more questions, feel free to ask me. I would love to talk to you guys, and thank you. See you in the next one. Finally reached my apartment. It's so hot. Still feels like summer in Seoul. This is the shop that I go to purchase my phone line and mobile data. It costs $20 a month and is a lot more affordable than the ones you go to in the airport. I'll leave the address in the description. First meal in Korea with Emma! Yay! It's so crowded in Hongdae on a Saturday night.
Pika Pikachu, Pika Pika.